Uh, I'll talk about only one couplet, one share from a poem by Dr. Lama Muhammad Iqbal, and this poem is, very, it's very close to my heart. Although I don't have understanding of some of few of those ashars that are there in this poem, but this is beautiful. Okay, and I am doing, I'm trying to explain this poem for myself, for but just one a couplet at a time. Okay, now it's so every share, every couplet needs some time, and that's what I'm doing. I did the number 4 one, kya Sufi mullah ko khabar mere jinoo ki, the other day, and now I will talk about the very first share of this poem. दिल सोज से खाली है निगह पाक नहीं है, फिर इसमें अजब क्या कि तू बेबाक नहीं है. So there are three words, that you need to pay attention. Dil, the first word is soz, okay, soz, nigah pak, and bepak. Okay, so these are three words, the words that are there. We need to pay attention. Okay, so Lama Iqbal, Lama Iqbal was a person of, he was a man of insight. Okay, so he knew, like, the problems that were there in the society that he was living in and the time that he was there. So he knew, the problems, collectively, the society was facing some problems, and then he was aware of those. Okay, and society is made up of individuals. Individuals make a society. So he was aware of the problems that, the weaknesses there that were there in characters, in of those individuals. Okay, so he was aware of problems or weaknesses that were there in individuals, and then at the society's level as well. Okay, so not just he was aware of problems, he was aware of the reasons. So he had that insight to see the reasons behind, the problems. Okay, and then he proposed solutions. Okay, so Iqbal's poetry is all about this. He has, he complains, he talks about, the problems that are there, and then he give reasons. Okay, that you have, for that reason, you have this problem there, and then he gave solutions. Okay, so the problems that were there at his time, Lama Iqbal's time, they are still there in our Pakistani society. So that means, the solutions that he presented at that time, they are very valid now. Okay, so yeah, it's up to us, as individuals or as a society, if we want to, just, adopt, if we want to adopt those solutions. Okay, so yeah, so this couplet is, it has, there is a reason, there is a reason, and then there are two, consequences of, that reason. Okay, two problems associated with that. Okay, so Allama Iqbal is talking to a person, indirectly he's talking to a person who is not bebak. Okay, so that person is not bold. Okay, he's not bold at all. Okay, he is always afraid. Okay, he has fears in his mind. Okay, so the moment he, so maybe this person realizes. Okay, he, he realizes that, he has issues in his personality or in his character, he has weaknesses in his character. But the moment he start thinking, so his mind is gripped by fears. Okay, so fears come to, they enter in his mind before any positive thought, before any constructive thought that can, enter his mind. Okay, so he's in such a miserable state. Okay, he's not bold. Okay, he's not bebag at all. Okay, and so why this person is in such a miserable state. Okay, then, and not just that, that he's, he has become slave of his own thoughts. So, all his actions are basically, driven by the these fears, that are in there in his mind. Okay, so why he has become like this, because, over the years. Okay, so what was he was doing, that led to this situation. Okay, so what he was doing over the years, dil soz se khali hai. Okay, so this was a person who, in his entire life, his heart was devoid. Okay, his heart was devoid of any passion. Okay, his heart had no feelings, towards other human beings, the other human beings that were around him, starting from his very own household. Okay, starting from that, his household, the people who were there, and then, to his neighbors, the people that were in the street that he shared, his town, his city, his, society. So he was not aware of their problems. Okay, all he was living, that he was living for himself only. Okay, so he was not aware of, what others are going through, what problems they have. Okay, but what injustices are, done towards those individuals. Okay, how miserable, their lives are. Okay, so he was so, distant from them. Okay, his heart was all empty. Okay, no passion, no heat. Okay, no burning flame. Okay, there was no flame, left in his heart. In every heart there is this flame. When we see atrocities, when we see, people in suffering, in miseries, we feel for them. Okay, we feel for them. So but this person, all empty. Okay, all empty, no feelings. So his heart is the coldest spot in his body. Okay, the how, no heat left in that heart. Okay, heart. And so that's what he was doing. His heart was so empty. And the reason is that, he was thinking about himself only. His needs, his desires. Okay, what he has to do, what he has to eat. So all about himself. No feelings for others. Okay, yeah. So again, that's, so why is he in this state? You know and the reason that, he was not bold. He's gripped by fears now, that he was doing this. He was all for himself. Not for, he was not thinking about anybody else. But the reason behind both of these is that his निगह पाक नहीं है. Okay, so this person, when, what he was doing, in his life, was that he was looking at, he had impure thoughts in his mind. He used to always think about impure things. Okay, he would let impure thoughts enter, in his mind. Okay, and then he would look at things that are, he was not supposed to look at them. Okay, so he knew from his knowledge, the knowledge that he gained over the years, and from childhood. So he was told that there are moments, okay, where you are supposed to lower your gaze. Okay, I'm just giving you one example. What do we mean by looking at forbidden things and, impure thoughts? So he was supposed to lower his gaze. Okay, but this person, you know so he has developed his character in a way that he would actually open his eyes wide open at that moment where he was supposed to lower his gaze. He would eagerly and passionately, open his eyes wide open to see, those the forbidden things. Okay, that's what he was doing. Okay, so what happened when when you look at the forbidden things, and then you let impure thoughts in your mind, so you stuff your mind with those. Okay, and they're stuffed in your mind. And that's what you shuffle around all the time. When you're walking, when you're, doing your chores, whatever you're doing, these thoughts, the impure thoughts, they kind of shuffle around, as images. Okay, and these images are, that's what you are. Okay, and eventually what happens, you become slave of those thoughts. Okay, you become slave of those thoughts. Okay, so then your character develops into this, that you are not bepak at all. Okay, so you reach to this situation that, you on your own bed, when you are sleeping, the safest place in your house, your bed, when you are sleeping, you are still afraid. Okay, you have fears in your mind. Okay, so what might happen tomorrow? Okay, so you kind of become slave of your own mind, of your own fears. Okay, you cannot break free. Okay, because you have become slave of those. Okay, so if you want to get out of this situation, the miserable situation that you are in, so the very first thing to do will be that purify your nigah, your vision, and your thoughts, purify them. Okay, just stop looking at the things that are forbidden, and stop those thoughts. Do not let impure, don't think about impure thoughts. Okay, just stop. Okay, and that's where then you will see that the fears that your mind is gripped, they will start disappearing very soon, inshallah. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here, and I'll come back with another couplet of this poem, inshallah. Okay, please take care.